Все больше осталось.
Все?
Он не снимал?
Не ожидали. Локация поменялась.
Okay, we now discuss first 7 chapters of the book, and due to some technical difficulties that we met during the last episode, where we decided to refilm this part, and now we start discussing chapters from 8 to 14.
По-моему, это надо переснять. Outlasted.
That's fine.
Okay.
For the discussion part, I want to fastly discuss chapters that we already know good and that we have discussed in the previous episode. So, in the chapter 8, Don Quixote and Sancho encounters windmills. Don Quixote believes that they are giants and wants to fight them, but he eventually fails. Then they continue traveling, and Don Quixote spots 2 friars and a carriage with women that he thought that those women are kidnapped princesses. Okay, then he fights with one of the friars. What was his name? Do you remember? Biscayan man, or more like we said in the previous discussion. So they started to fight, but then they after break the 4th wall. And what do you think about it when he introduces us with the translation and that this whole story is a fiction?
I think that it kind of contradicts what Cervantes was firstly positioning his book as, because he claimed it to be like a real historical event that was happening, and that Don Quixote was a real historical figure, but then he himself reveals to us that it's actually fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he wants us to reflect on whether on the reality and that focus that it's actually a character.
Mm-hmm.
It also adds a comical intonation to it. Exactly because he implies that the history must reveal the truth, and in fact he himself admits that he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was also interesting that the book is portrayed to us like a comedy, but actually many tragic things were happening to him, like he is mentally unstable and he lives a miserable life, but all the episodes are funny and we don't even realize that he is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, in this chapter he pays to one Arab guy, okay, and he asks him to translate the books that were not translated to his language, and then the narration continues. In chapter 10, the Don Quixote with that Moor fight, and then Don Quixote's ear is injured. He asks Sancho to help him, and he tells us about one remedy. Do you remember what it was? Like he says that nothing can cure him, and he needs this thing.
His balsam potion.
Mm-hmm.
It can be effective even if he's so into.
Okay, their fight ends, and they continue their travel. And from the chapter 11 to 14, interesting things start to happen. They encounter a group of goatherds, and they invite them to share a meal. And do you remember Don Quixote's monologue about the Golden Age, when he told that, before everything was better, and so on?
So before people respected knights more than they respect them nowadays, in their time. Maybe that's what.
Yes.
And also something about safety of women. That in Golden Age, no other men and knights never touched women and harassed them and so on.
Yes, he said that the women were more safe and free, and they were able to walk even in the night, and no one dared to touch them. Also, he mentioned that like their purity was never broken, only if they themselves wanted to give it to their loved one, and so on. And what do you think? Was it the author's thoughts, or was it like Don Quixote's own thoughts?
I think Don Quixote's.
I also think it's Don Quixote's personal exaggeration of chivalry of that age.
Yeah.
His personal depiction of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he wanted to underline like what major role the knights played,
Mhm.
and now that they don't appreciate them, etc.
Mm-hmm. And it is similar to his delusions about books and about history.
Mhm.
Was. Okay, and after this, his Golden Age monologue, a young shepherd sings a song about Chrysostom, who died because of his love to the shepherdess Marcella. And do you remember it? Like, there was a piece of poem which told us about like smart and brave Chrysostom, and like the daughter of a devil, Marcella, who seduced him by her beauty.
Mhm.
I don't remember the exact words, but I think that in the poem he kinda undermines her
Mhm.
as a person
Mhm.
Yes.
and objectifies her like a trophy in a way.
I think that it was also not a poem but a ballad, which he sang,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
He came to sing, and there he first admired Marcella's beauty, but then underlined her like way of living, that she is evil and she's she's cruel with
Mhm.
men.
Also, they tell that like he seduces men. She seduces men. She flirts with them, and then when they love her, doesn't accept their love.
Yes.
And did you believe this ballad?
Of course not. No, as a reader
Uh-huh.
in our time, we wouldn't consider it serious enough. Maybe at that time you would, but still,
Mm-hmm.
you can sense that pretentiousness in his words.
Okay.
In a way.
I actually believed it. I don't know. It was so convincing. I was not expecting that such an old book would present women as like contrary to what is in the ballad. I thought that the ballad was truthful because of the time when the novel was written.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, of course it did not delight me, but I was like, oh well, okay.
I
Yes.
think that they were like just abused.
Hurt by her.
Offended?
Yes.
Offended her, like when they fell in love with her, she didn't like accepted their feelings, and they were like, yeah, she's like that.
Yeah.
She's yeah, she like messed my mind. Like I didn't want it, but like she seduced me, and now she didn't accept. Like what the fuck? What the hell?
That kind of underscores the absurdity of that time and the position of women in romance or chivalry romances. And probably Cervantes did this consciously to demonstrate the reader how it looks from the other perspective, to consider it unnatural maybe in a way, or just funny, not in a good way also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, you told about chivalry. In this episode, Don Quixote told a man that a real knight should have a woman that he would miss. And in this episode, this is vice versa, when he understands that like not everyone can have a woman if she doesn't want to be with him. And I think that here we see a little character development of Don Quixote. Okay. And for me, this episode felt like a court when one side blamed Marcella and then the other side defended her. And in the 11th episode, we see only this case from Chrysostom's friends and himself's perspective, but then later the Marcella's side is revealed to us. In the next chapter, Don Quixote decides to attend his funeral, and then people blame her. They call her devil's daughter, witch, ungrateful, and so on. And this whole chapter, people blame Marcella, and in the next chapter, Marcella appeared at Chrysostom's funeral and defended herself. And this speech was actually so powerful, and I think that Cervantes' work was revolutionary because at that time, I think people didn't care what woman's perspective on the situation would be, but he showed us what it felt for her. What do you think about it? Her character's revelation and how she was different from other female side characters in the story that we already met.
She basically made a presentation about the concept of friend zone. Like she told, like, if I'm beautiful, it's not my problem that someone like fell in love with me and I don't respond. Like, why you blame me that they fell in love? Like, if I'm talking that with you, it's not meaning that like I have a feelings for you. I'm just being nice or something like that.
I think this way Cervantes manages to critique another side of the chivalry stereotype of that time, and this time in accordance to women.
Yes, and also speaking about chivalry, in the episode where they go to the funeral, Don Quixote tries to protect Marcella because some men were about to chase her when she ran away after her speech. But also it seems ironic that his own lady Dulcinea doesn't know about his existence, yes, and their kind of relationship, which he claims to exist.
Well,
So it's kind of weird.
Well, that's because he thinks that Dulcinea is under the charms of the evil enchanter.
But we're not supposed to know that yet.
Yeah?
I think, yeah.
In this chapter, it's not
A
revealed.
little bit of foreshadowing.
Didn't
it happen like
in the beginning when he meets her and he's like, oh, you don't know yet,
No,
but you...
when like he comes home and like everyone is showing his books and they were like, it's not us, it's your like nemesis, like your that sorcerer. He's like, that's right.
About the
That
books.
And he
Yes.
connects it to Dulcinea?
No.
I don't
But,
remember
No,
that.
like
He only talks about the books.
Well, him depicting his personal enemy, I remember, but I don't think he mentions
Yeah, they
Dulcinea.
don't
and that's-
touch the topic of Dulcinea there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought maybe he's like the main villain of this whole story. Like in his mind, like there is a sorcerer who like burns my books, like enchanted my girl, etc. Like he's the main bad guy, and I need to like.
Yeah.
I think for now Dulcinea remains completely depersonalized.
Yes.
So we're not even discussing it from a perspective of a real woman.
Yes.
And we made an interesting note last time when we were initially recording it, that this is almost the first episode when chivalry makes something good out of the situation. Don Quixote ends up being the only one who helps the woman, thanks to him reading all the books.
Right. Even if he's the only one of the old people who is insane, but he was the only one who understood the problem of the situation.
Yes, and also this connects to my episode which we discussed. Like despite the barber and the priest, everyone thinking that he's mad, we as readers know that he has good intentions. He just implements them in a kind of strange way.
Don't you think that it may be like a trait of his personality, the way he was empathetic with Marcella? Or do you think that was completely the effect of the chivalry romances about the bravery and благородство and all the other stuff?
Do you mean like his own worldview and the books, or I can't remember?
The way he treated Marcella, was it the effect of the books or his own personality traits just combined with his madness?
We don't know. We only saw him like.
Yes,
after
we
he-
don't know what happened to Don Quixote before he became mad.
Yeah, what did he
He
do?
always
What-
tries to
what he
protect
was like.
someone in danger, and I think that's why maybe he decided to protect her from this one.
I personally incline towards the book version.
Yes.
Because from other episodes we know how in fact brutal Don Quixote can be sometimes. It doesn't matter whether he's under the effect of his chivalry or not. In fact, his actions are quite brutal. So his true personality, I don't think he's feminist of the novel.
Yes.
And
Because according to these chivalry books, as a knight, he should protect everyone.
and that's exactly why he does it. Just following like a rule
He
book.
just follows instructions.
I think it's also because of books, because if Marcellus touch him that deeply, he would reconsider his thoughts about Dulcinea and understand what's wrong with his love towards her.
Yes.
I want to read you a line from Marcella's speech, and it starts with, "My beauty leads you to love me, and for the love you show me, you say and even urge that I am bound to love you." Like the people that love her only because of her looks, and they expect her to love them back. And the problem is this. Also, in this episode, it was also revealed that Marcella is extremely smart, but people didn't see it because of her beauty overshadowed it, and now we saw it. We saw everything. Okay, and even after we believed Marcella after her speech, some people didn't even care, especially Chrysostomus' friends, and they still call her like a witch and so on. And they wrote, "He lies the body of a lover, and she drove him to despair." Like they wrote it on his gravestone, and I think it shows how in our society it works. Like even if the nevinovnost,
Being not guilty.
not guiltiness, like was proven.
Innocence.
Innocence was proven. Some people still will find a way to not believe it.
When it's about woman, in most cases. But her figure is definitely powerful, especially for the book of that time. It's like, really unexpected to see.
Yes. That's why I believed the ballad, because I didn't expect such a turn.
It's understandable.
Also, as you said that her figure was powerful, I agree to you, because in other chapters when we were introduced to female characters, they were only in one chapter and didn't go in much details. But Marcella, we discussed her for whole 11, 12, 13, 14, for whole 4 chapters, and I think it's the record of this book.
Yes, because usually in every chapter new characters.
And I noticed that there is a huge common thing between Chrysostomus and Emma Bovary's death. First thing that I noticed is that they both killed themselves, and what other things do you think about the differences and similarities?
Well, they're delusional, both of them,
No,
How is
Don
she
Quixote
delusional?
didn't saw the line between reality and his imagination, but Madame Bovary, Emma, she knew. As we discussed.
We're discussing Chrysostom and Emma.
Chrysostom and Emma.
Why you...
Уп.
Я сейчас не услышала.
Я тоже.
Марцелла? Хризостом? Нет, я сказала Хризостом.
Да, ты сказал, да.
Мне опять вопрос задать?
Да.
Ничего не было.
We can just leave it. He said that it's okay to leave. Let it be authentic. Just keep.
Это буперы, да.
It's okay.
It's like to just...
You can discuss.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Anyway.
What do you think about similarities of Chrysostomus and Emma Bovary's death? First thing is that they killed themselves.
I think that they both kind of didn't want to take responsibilities for their actions and for their life, because Chrysostom positioned it like in his poem, which he left. He wanted the poem to be burned, but we are still acquainted with it, and there he blames Marcella for his deeds, but actually it was his own responsibility because she is not responsible for his feelings. And also with Emma Bovary, she positions her life as being like full of negative circumstances, but actually she kind of has, maybe it's controversial, but she has the opportunity to live a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
Her mindset was just not focused on that.
Also, both Chrysostom and Emma were smart and educated, but Emma was like influenced by books, but while Chrysostom wrote poems by himself.
Yes.
Okay, and the last question is, why do you think Sancho unquestionably believed Don Quixote? Like, he is not insane and he even has a family, but he still like left everything and went traveling with Don Quixote.
For his
I-
personal gain.
Yes, I think first one is like just his economical condition, maybe that, because he was promised island and stuff, which is good for him. But still, we see that from every chapter, it's kind of he's like away from his goal, yes. So I think it's kind of also personal, like I don't know, not like madness, but just there is no point in him to think that he will get something.
And also, in case with Sancho, family doesn't play that big of a role for him.
Yes.
It's once again a little foreshadowing of the later chapters. But when do you remember what was his motivation to leave for the first time? When he decided to leave and Don Quixote changed his mind, for what exact reason he wanted to leave? Okay. Just he never wanted to come back to his family. He wanted to come home for the harvest season. So once again, for his personal gain,
Yeah.
for the monetary benefit.
And I also think he's a bit like naive and dumb.
Yes, he also said that he is uneducated and he can't even read. So I think that this plays a huge role for his like naiveness. And what do you think? Will he leave Don Quixote in the future chapters?
No.
Like we don't know yet, but
We
I
didn't
think-
know yet. Now we know that there will be like one time. Almost. Well, okay.
Stop it.
No, we
Don't say
say
that.
But we don't know
Don't
yet
continue.
that whether
Yes,
he
what if-
leaves or not.
I think that no, he won't leave him. Don't you think so? They're kind of dual in a way. Even when you look at the illustrations of both of them and their depictions, they're like contrasting but still kind of complementing each other visually.
Yes.
And also, I've seen the summary of the second book, and it says like they will be discussing their past adventures. So so probably that means they were together doing it. Yeah. Spoilers. Spoiler.
And have you noticed some Shakespearean ideas in this book, like Romeo and Juliet, for example?
Not really.
It's the like romance of Romeo and Juliet was like
So they were both in
Yeah.
love with each other, but
they
in this
shared
case,
the same
they are not.
feelings, yeah.
I thought about this when like the ballad started, to be sung.
Maybe it's like conditions that made me
Maybe
think
this
about that.
ballad can be example of how people and readers may believe things that are written and not true, and that's how Don Quixote believes all his chivalry romance that Golden Age was perfect and so on, but he don't know the truth, and if they didn't attend funerals, he thought that what's her name? Marcella is a witch and she killed this man.
So it's like example in an example.
Maybe I
Like
think
something
so.
metafictional or just coincidence.
It can be because this story follows his speech about Golden Age.
Also, the ballad felt like it was from romance, but this book is novel, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Introduction.
And also, it was interesting for me that even if he listened to people calling Marcella bad and so on, he never said anything bad about her until like seeing her with his own eyes and understanding that she is innocent. Like he didn't listen to public opinion and didn't join the blackmailing.
Do you think it was surprising?
Yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it, like.
Yeah.
I think that I expected it because he is like throughout the whole book he is kind of the opposite of the public opinion. He insists on his position, his views about chivalry, and his even his lifestyle, despite the public opinion. So in such a minor matter, I think it's not obvious that he would not be listening to others.
So can we say that we can, in a sense, look up to Don Quixote as a figure? Just like
in some
thought.
sense only. Like he is kind of stubborn in his positions and his principles, but the way he sacrifices many things in life for this is kind of naive.
Yeah, also, it would be strange, like in a common sense, why would they put this in the story?
Yeah.
He will be like against of everyone. So yeah, it kinda might be expected. Common sense. Like if this part is in the story, that means that something will happen.
Also, in previous chapters, he mentioned that he will protect every woman, old, young, and even those who is not pure anymore. And it was strange, like
Even you guys.
like for Cervantes, was it like not pure women don't deserve to be saved? And like Quixote says, like I will save even them. Like he's that gentleman.
Such an LG.
Yeah, because at their time they
Shamed.
shamed women
Mm-hmm.
for this. They called them flat-shamed.
Mm-hmm. Fallen.
Fallen?
Yes. I think that this was considered taboo, and even if the women weren't innocent, they still were called like you're, how to say, спровоцировала.
Seduce.
Yes, seduced. But do you remember in which year this novel was written?
1654.
is my guess.
1654.
1649.
Something like that.
Waiting time.
45?
All five.
Wow.
Oh, almost.
I think it is really revolutionary for him to discuss such ideas. And it's interesting that, for example, who is the author of Madame Bovary?
Flaubert.
Yes, that Flaubert was like bullied for discussing these novel ideas, but people didn't do nothing with Don Quixote's after. However, he discusses so many things that I think wouldn't be accepted in their time.
It's just the way the Cervantes conveyed it. He made it like in a way concealed, because there are always like satire going on, something not ridiculous, but how do you say it?
Comedic? Ironic.
Yeah, in a way, like, so you don't consider it something serious, but still it comes with all the seriousness when you read it.
So it's kind of mixed.
It's kind of like genius of him to incorporate those things in one.
The true meaning of the book can be only like we can only understand it when reading closely. When in Flaubert it's kind of everything is ready for
Yeah, and also,
discussion.
I watched the video it was said like the time when Cervantes published his work, it was like warmly accepted. Типа принято, типа like вызвал фурор, всякие такие, короче, yeah, everyone liked it very much. That like some people started to write like fanfics like about the continuation, and Cervantes saw these fanfics, he read them and was like, what the hell is this? Like, and that's why he released the second book, the second second part volume.
I wanted to ask you a question, but I don't remember it. Pause. Okay, I think that this is all for our discussion for today. Thank you for participating and actively discussing with us. And now I think it's time to wrap up and conclusion.
Yes. Speaking about our last episode, which was on chapters 1 to 7, we were introduced to the main character Don Quixote and how he became a knight. We also were introduced with his first ever adventures, which were not quite successful, but they didn't take away his motivation to continue searching for new adventures. We were also introduced to his character and his personality, his delusions, and how it actually is quite dangerous what his romantic romances led him to become. But yet we still are interested in what will happen next.
And for the next episode, let's introduce our next host.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and
Thank you guys for being the one who spoke today.
It was interesting to
Host in
listen.
yeah, being hosts. Yeah.
Thank you for participating. Подожди, твой conclusion?
I think that you covered everything.
Yeah.
Я же сказала только про первые 7 чаптеров. Надо сказать про Санчо,
We also can conclude with the way
про то, что main
Cervantes.
themes, вот эти вот, то, что
На
очень
самом деле
important
у нас разговоры были too general, и по идее, мне кажется, они в принципе заходят за conclusion.
Ты сказала, типа, все ивенты, которые он encountered, типа, не убили его мотивацию. Мне кажется, сюда тоже applicable.
Но у нас есть, видимо, в блуперсах теперь.
Про Circular это же в моем
В следующих сериях.
Короче, при следующих упомянем про еще Circular, вот. Да? Скажем.
И про метадискурс еще раз.
У тебя в эпизоде... нет, это у тебя в эпизоде очень много метадискурса.
Это
Там, где
про
про
Менгелей.
Менгелей, вот это вот.
И это надо обсудить, да.
Мы сегодня вроде бы его упомянули, но мы решили вообще о нем не говорить.
Больше про
Мы
бальзам.
в том этом говорили, который записал.
В оригинал версии, которую мы не будем нигде публиковать.
Я это сказал, добавим.
Режиссерская версия.
Да,
И,
мы
кстати,
добавим
да,
всё равно.
экстеншн.
2 часа.
Можешь еще добавить там, типа, телевизор и там цик-цик-цик.
Но мы...
Are we done?
Yeah, thank you for the attention, professor, whoever watched this.
Let's applaud ourselves. Yeah.
Good job. Bye.